Hi everybody, this is Dom, the host of Raising the Barber, and welcome to my channel. I really wanted to thank you for your support. We got to 200 subscribers, more than that. This means a lot to me because I've worked pretty hard to do what I do at the moment, just sharing content, and the fact that people appreciate what I do is speechless. It has no price. I'm obviously keep on running. I'm making sure that things go better and better slowly. And today I'll announce my 10th guest, which I'm very happy for. But also I wanted to talk about more what's raising the barber to me. Being a barber is very hard. There's a lot of stereotypes, a lot of misconceptions. And most people think that barbers in general don't really care about the client, they just look for money, or they're not interested in others people's life. And I want to make sure that the organic growth of my subscribers and the people that follow me, people that know me, know for sure that I'm doing something that is helping other people, even if in a small amount, but slowly growing. It could show people that first of all, barbers are very interested into what people do, and second, it can help others to connect. You could show people that there's a lot of many other jobs and so many other careers that you can think about. And if you have a passion such as music, art, could be whatever you really feel like you want to do in your life, is definitely something that you can do. I always wanted to do content in my life. I always wanted to show people something about me, something about what I do, what I can express through a camera. And this time I found my little niche. I'm talking about niche. My niche is my clients. It's not the barbershop. It's my clients. I just want that what they have to say and what's my idea or the main reason why people have to go back to Raising the Barber. If you ever watch one of my videos, at the end of it there's always a phrase, which is always keep on going because you are the future. It's so true. No rush. It can take days, years, whatever. Just keep going. That's what I think. Trust the process is the key for success. It would be much appreciated if you could share this content to let people know there's a new podcast ready for you, where you can immerse yourself in new stories. So the next guest is Filippo, who had a great story to tell everybody. He started from zero. He started making coffee to work to one of the best places you could work in London and worldwide. And then obviously when he had this opportunity, his life has changed dramatically, and that's why I was very curious to know how he made it. So for this episode, please stick with us, subscribe and share. Let's go.
Yo, listen to this, it's Raising the Barber, cop dip, talk shop, no ribbon, harbor.
How are you today?
Let's go. Very good.
That was great.
Very good. And you?
Pretty good, thank you. Long day today. How about yours?
Yeah, long, like my hairs.
Like your hairs, that's for sure. So what are we gonna do today then?
Just a little trim, like make it a bit shorter, keeping the same style, but just
Just a touch all over.
Yeah, like usual.
All right, we're gonna just touch you in here, then we're gonna be using a bit of products. Why don't we?
Yeah.
All right, ti abbasso un poco, questo provo secondo e voila.
Yeah, especially here, because there is like a lot.
You have a lot of volume,
now that I keep it a bit more at the front, if we can have it a bit like, and quite shorter.
Quite shorter, yeah?
Yeah.
You're gonna be going on holiday or something?
Yeah, I'm gonna be traveling now for, probably I'll be back in London in September, so I mean like I'll have a haircut before then, but I
on and off,
for
you
short.
say.
Yeah,
you call me whenever. So I'm gonna be talking about this, and then we're gonna work on the weight as well. So I'll list in the middle, you know what I mean? Then this obviously about a finger off, a finger and a half off.
Yeah, at least.
So we can just bring it in a bit. That's great. So I wanted you to be part of this this podcast because you are, let's say you're the lucky one. You're like one of the guys, like the American come true, the dream of America, but in the UK, because you told me the story of the way you got here in London and the way you got your job. It's just hilarious. But we're going to talk about that later. Where are you from first?
Well, Italy, from Genova, a city in the northwest by the sea. I'm sure you know.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I was like growing up over there then.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. You always have different. You're exposed to different side of every city, right?
Yep.
And it's love growing up, by the sea.
Wow.
That feeling that the summer is coming. Schools are over. It's always good, and it's a bit small at times.
Is it?
Yeah.
I've been once in my life, while ago. I remember I went to the aquarium.
Yeah.
I went there. It was pretty cool, honestly. Super nice, but I didn't have the chance to see all of it. Did you spend much time into the city or outside the city then?
That's a good question. Like Genova is built around the Gulf, and the old town and the city center is built around the aquarium area where you have the port, and I live more on the east side.
All right.
So you usually go center if you need to go to one of the main shops or for some things that you need to do. Otherwise, would go like the other direction towards Portofino, which in summer is gorgeous.
That's great. So I imagine you spent most of the time over there, is it?
Yeah, in the summer, yeah.
How's Portofino then? I was like, how's perceived by tourists? How you see Portofino?
Good question. Like tourists, they think about, if you say I'm from Genoa, people not necessarily know. But when you say it's close to Portofino, everyone is like, Portofino. Don't know if it's the song or like all the Insta posts or whatever.
True.
I mean, like Portofino per se, at the end of the day, it's a small port.
Right.
I mean, like the place is gorgeous, surrounded by nature, but it's a small port. All the areas around Portofino are really, really, really nice. So what we usually do, we rent a small boat, and we see it from the sea. It's quite outstanding.
Oh, beautiful! I would definitely go.
I got a lot of friends that I invited from London. I got friends from Singapore, from India. I mean, like from Germany, which is closer, but still. And everyone.
What was the feedback? Did you like it?
They enjoyed it. Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful. So you spent your youth there, you grew up there as everyone in a normal way. Probably you had some doubts in life when you were growing up, did you?
Yeah. Like all the usual suspects. Yeah.
So all about like the job or what to do in life and stuff. What school have you done back then?
Well, I studied at the scientific high school.
All right.
Yeah, because nearly everyone in my family is a doctor.
Really?
Or like anything like around that.
Okay.
So I took the scientific course. You can choose like either classic or scientific, and then you can specialize on something a bit more specific. But usually those are the two courses that you do before you get on a university.
That's true. I mean, like I was lucky enough. I had a linguistic school that helped me a lot. But yeah, most people, they either go for the classic one or the scientific or like the more practical one that you can learn literally like a job, a craft, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is part of this. So you did the scientific, which is basically, I would say, is a basic one in a way that's, even though it's like a high school, which is a big start to also understand what you want to do in life. But then you suddenly move in London, do you? Yeah,
so I finished the high school like everyone else in June, and the February after, so like what it is, like 9 months after, I decided to move to London.
Oh, yeah. Straight away?
Yeah. I spent the summer there, and then moved. Yeah.
And moving in London is a big change, obviously.
Well, yeah.
But what was the first thing you noticed when you moved here?
Well, I think the pace,
Right.
Like a lot of people, everyone very different. People wouldn't spend too much time looking at each other. They would just like be on the move on whatever they had to do. And I remember like this river of people, like walking in the center and
like a swarm.
Yeah, literally.
Endless.
Yeah.
Horizon. So true.
Yeah.
So
that was the first impact for sure. Yeah.
So like the first culture shock was amount of people.
Yeah.
That was it. It was the quantity of people.
Yeah, yeah.
And to be honest with you, I had the same, even though I come from a fairly chaotic city. But, you know, London is just crazy, man. Crazy place. This was how long ago, you said?
That was Feb 2012. So a bit more than 12 years now.
Whoa, man. All
bloody
right.
hell. Yeah.
So you're a veteran.
Yeah, well.
Have you got your little, like, have you got the stripes? Have you got your stripes on?
Yeah. No, not yet. I will do the passport soon. But yeah.
That's great. It's fantastic. Do you go back often to Genova or to Italy at all?
Well, that has changed throughout my time in London. When I first moved, I was mainly working in hospitality, restaurants and bars. So I didn't have many holidays, certainly didn't have a lot of cash to spend on expensive flights. So back then it was quite shocking at first because I would go back maybe once or twice a year, you know? And after, you know, been living with my family like every day for all my life, not seeing them for so long, that was a bit, was strange, to say the least. Now I go very often. I sometimes even once every month and a half. So yeah,
which is good. You keep
amazing
contact with family, friends. You build your relationship there, which is part of the game. And to be fair, most people are gonna watch this. They're gonna say, "Oh man, 2 times a year is like." Sometimes I go like 2 times in 4 years because you know people. That's what they do. Yeah. But Italy's so close. First, and Genoa is like around the corner, basically.
Yeah. It's 2 hours, like 5 hours door to door.
Okay.
But yeah, like if you are from, you know, the States, Latin America, Australia, like obviously it's way more difficult to go home.
I can only imagine. You know, that's one of the questions that I always ask to my clients, saying that, you know, when I got someone from New Zealand, for example, how can you stay so far from home? Often the answer is like for work. But you know, you want to travel Europe, whatever. But you know, like just probably it's no. I don't want to make it too nationalistic. But you know, Italians are very like I gotta go home. You know,
it's
that's
tough.
the feeling. That's the feeling. So you go more often, right? Any regrets in your move? Or you feel like was the best thing you've ever done, or you would have changed anything about that?
Regrets? Certainly not. Would I want to know how my life would look like if I never moved to London? Probably neither, you know. I'm very pleased about the different opportunity that I had for like my career, personal growth, friends I met. So yeah.
You feel like you're good with yourself.
Yeah.
How do the parents take this? How do your family takes the fact that they have an expert?
Yeah, no, I
child.
It's funny because like I'm very close to them, and when I left, I wasn't too close with my father, for instance, and we got way more closer after, you know, like I started to study, I went to uni, and I got like a decent job. I mean, like all the jobs before were good, but kind of with different academic path, which is something that I knew was very important for them. So yeah, it's weird, but at the same time, I'm still very close to them. Which is quite peculiar.
It's definitely.
Yeah.
It's not that easy, you know, try to keep a connection, even though like nowadays, probably 50 years ago and more would have been quite impossible to keep a relationship. I've seen a video recently, I don't know if you know about that, but a video of a lady meeting his brother after 30 years. 30 years. He was from New York and stuff.
Yeah.
This still happened. We're so lucky.
Yeah.
We're so lucky.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, it's nice to hear that you still have a good relationship with your family.
My family WhatsApp group is on fire.
Really?
Yeah, every day.
That's great. They're gonna be way happier when they're gonna know that you're part of this content. I'm happy to have you here. The thing is, we were talking about before, is your path during your, stay at the beginning in London, then all the, throughout your years here. What was the tipping point? What was when all happened, and what happened in your life in London?
So, well, let's start probably from the reasons why I decided to move, right? I wasn't really inspired by any particular path. I didn't want to continue my studies. I didn't find any specific job that I wanted to pursue back then. And to be fair, I was a bit lost in the sense that I didn't really know what I wanted to do next. So it seems that learning a new language and experiencing living in a city like London would have been like a good next step to not lose time and try to find my own way, right? So that's why I decided to move in the first place. I came here, was supposed to go in a hostel, and some friends called me and said, "You crazy? You're coming to London? You don't say anything to us? Come to us." So
wow.
I managed to sleep on their couch. Definitely better than a random hostel. And then from there, it was a bit of the classic Italian journey in hospitality. Couldn't speak English very well, so they just throw me behind a bar at the counter, asking me, "Can you make coffees?" And I thought, I'm probably drunk enough to be able to make a few now. And that's how it all started. And it was like the first time, I would have my job, I would pay for my bills. My family helped me when I first moved, but then I managed to be fully independent for the first time. And I think everyone can remember when that happens for the first time.
It's just beautiful, guys.
It feels good, right?
So good.
It feels very good. And then from there, well, funny enough, my first job was at OBK, a Napolitan restaurant.
No, OBK is like Obika. It's like,
yeah, Obika.
Look at this.
Yeah, look at this. Yeah, from the dialect. In Canary Wharf. And I was doing the deliveries for the bankers, staying late, working late.
No.
But the problem of me working at OBK is that I only learned Napolitan and Sicilian by staying
So
there.
we can speak Napolitan. We can speak Napolitan.
Yeah.
You still have it.
Yeah, I don't know if I have it, but like, no one was speaking English. Everyone was Italian. So moved to London to learn the language. I was only speaking with Italians.
No way. No, wow.
I remember the chef back then couldn't even say in English how to buy a packet of cigarettes.
No.
I was like, cigaretta. It was hilarious.
No way, beautiful.
Although I loved the people, like everyone was so much fun and super welcoming, I had to leave after 1 month or two because, like at the end of the day, I moved to learn the language. So
True.
So I had to move. And I ended up working at some few different places. I work at Patisserie Valérie. It's no longer it's there. Hopefully it's not my fault. Carluccio's, which is still going strong.
Yeah.
And then randomly, I moved in the Starbucks in the JP Morgan building in Canary Wharf, 25 Bank Street.
Like randomly, basically.
Kind of randomly, like I worked in Patisserie Valérie.
Okay.
And before I moved there, the manager left to go to work at the Starbucks in Canary Wharf.
Okay.
And then she started to hire all her previous good employees. I never worked with her by then. And then she was still hiring because it's Aramark, like they use Starbucks, but it's a private catering company from the States. They have contracts with these big banks to take care of anything hospitality related. So they were hiring a lot of people, and she asked to her employees, "Do you know anyone that you could recommend?" And they mentioned my name because we worked at Patisserie Valérie together. And so I had the first interview with her in this like gorgeous building in Canary Wharf on the 7th floor with a beautiful view, marble everywhere. And I was like, wow, this is great. And it was Monday to Friday. Which is insanely rare.
It's a dream.
Yeah, in hospitality, if you work Monday to Friday, it's usually when people are out, you are there working, right? So it's it felt like a unique opportunity back then, and it truly was. And after working in the Starbucks building, in the JP Morgan buildings at Starbucks, I got to meet all the JP Morgan people. Super like friendly, clever people, very nicely dressed. And after a year working there, I decided, okay, I'm ready for the next step. And I signed up to uni. Yes.
Wow.
So that was the tipping point. Yeah.
So you just when like you were inspired by these people working in this big building, like something fascinating for you. You said like, okay, I can do it. I can try.
Exactly.
I can try.
Something similar.
But you were working for Starbucks. You weren't working for, I don't know. I can't really make an example. You didn't even like try to be a receptionist in there. You didn't really like do anything. Just working on a Starbucks.
Yeah, completely unrelated to what they do. Yeah. Just working in proximity of them. That was the only connection, the building per se.
You were seeing them like living their life, and you were living yours. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like how things in some time, like combine. It's unbelievable. And so that was the tipping point.
That was the tipping point, 100%. Yeah.
I was uni.
Uni was fun.
Like, when not? Everywhere in the world is fun.
Uni was fun. It was hilarious from very different angles, right? I had a great time because I met like very, very close friends there. I was also spending time with people with big dreams, ambitious, that they wanted to achieve things in life. One of my best mates from uni is now running a multi-million dollars company doing private concierge for ultra high net worth individuals. It's like booking jets, private suite. He's now based in Miami. One of his clients invested in the company. Went on Forbes. I met like really, really, really
Wow.
cool friends there that I'm very grateful for. And also, I was always a bit of a crazy head back at school in Italy, always in trouble. And because of my transition into uni from, working 12 to 14 hours a day, 6 days a week in hospitality, for the first time, I actually sat down in a classroom ready to learn, which was definitely not what I was ready to do back then when I was a high school in Italy, right? And so it was like something new to me. I really wanted to spend time to learn, to study, to get better, learning new skills, spending time with people that were as ambitious as I was. And it was truly amazing. I really, really enjoyed it.
Question that just comes up in my mind. How was your English when you started living in London, and how did it improve to the uni time?
I actually thought about when you said that you studied languages. I wanted to know, did it help when you moved here? Because I studied English a bit, but it didn't help at all.
Oh my gosh,
it was tough.
For the audience, it didn't really help. But anyway.
Right. It was tough. My English was really basic. I'm sorry for my English teachers. I was not a great student, as I just said, disclaimer for them. It didn't help. And my English obviously improved in the first 2-3 years while I was working in coffee shops and restaurants. It didn't get to a good level. It only started to get to an acceptable level at uni. So you start to study in English, so you're absorbing new words and sentences and structures by studying and reading and writing, but also you meet more native speakers.
True.
Which is also very important, because at the early stages of learning a new language, most often you translate from yours.
True.
In hospitality, you have a lot of expats working there, so you might learn from a Polish that is translating in English, or a Spanish, or another Italian, which is not necessarily the clean and highest.
It's not the best
spoken English, right? It's a journey. I mean, I've been living here for 12 years, and my accent is quite thick. it's not gonna go away. So
I mean, it's Italian at the end of the day. You know, like people like the Italian accent sometimes. I will start talking about the Euros, but I don't want to talk about that because it's been tough for for lots of them speaking English with an Italian accent after that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so let's say you start uni, right? You've never been to uni in Italy, have you? All right,
Never.
but can you, in a way, compare your friend's uni with yours? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I know that's pretty different, and some of them are still scared about going to uni here because it may be like a big wall to climb.
Great question. It's actually quite fascinating to see how different it is. Well, as I said, I only study here, but you know, speaking with friends and like being Italian, I know how it is structured. I think here it's very efficient, very effective.
All right.
So in Italy, if you need to pass a course, you probably need to study 1,000, 1,200 pages, and then you're only asked about 50 of them or 2 chapters. Here, you already know. So you only study what is relevant and you don't have to study everything. It's like, I think in Italy, you go through more theory, probably all the theory that you need to go through. Here is much more focus on practice, teamwork, assignment with other colleagues, and activities like that. So, I mean, also every university is slightly different. I take that in considerations, but it was very effective, I would say. It's once you go over the language hurdle, and to be honest, a lot of the things I studied for the first time in English. So I would struggle now to send any, like I moved here when I was 19.
Wow.
Any professional interaction I had was in English. So now that sometimes I work with Italian clients, which is a very formal language, as you know, there are different ways of, you know, like approaching and speaking with people. I'm like, how shall I start an email? How should I say that? How do you say that in Italian?
So it's true that you struggle because it looks like a stereotype of the expat living abroad and I can't speak my language. It's true, guys. It's true. It becomes quite impossible sometimes. You literally just get stuck in words. You forget them.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
When I speak Napolitan, for me it's straight away very, very clean. But Italian, I don't know for what reason, I don't know, I'll get lost sometimes. So I was like, help me say something, help me. That's the way I do, but it's so true. So you learned most of your, your career starts in English, is continuing in English. And is there any point that you feel like the career we're going to talk about now in Italy would have been different?
I don't even know whether I would have had the same career.
No, right now. Like in this moment. No,
so
because what happened to you is impossible.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
telling you.
Okay, exactly. We both agree to that. Fine. It's interesting because my current role, I work in a technology company, so I sell a software. It's called SaaS, Software as a Service. We basically sell a program that to businesses, so it's a B2B activity. And a lot of these, like the dynamics, especially nowadays, are a lot are remote, right? So if you think about back in the days, you would get on a flight, you would talk with a client in Geneva in Switzerland, and then you probably try to have as many meetings as you can physically have there. And then you might fly to Brussels in Belgium and so forth, and so on and so forth. Whereas now you can have up to 8, 9, 10 calls on a day, stay home. And it's more costly efficient because you don't have to fly around and book hotels, and it's also more time efficient.
And I would add, it's more environmental efficient.
Yeah, as well, right? So you always, I think, like face-to-face will never be totally replaced. Working on a large contract, going there, meeting people, shaking hands, even going out for a drink and learning a bit more about who you have in front of you, it's unreplaceable and it's priceless. Yeah, so it will never go away. Like the way you bond with people, face-to-face will never be replaced with virtual meeting. But as everything else, you have pros and cons, right?
Definitely. Is the drink side as well is very something very different. I bet Italians go for dinner,
Yeah.
and then for a drink. Here, the drink culture is so big that it bonds in a way together with work and stuff. It looks like the work ethic is like, if you don't drink, you're not part of the team.
You're missing out opportunities.
Do you?
I think so. I think you're right. I think you're right. I'm not saying it's necessary, but tell me one activity you do with colleagues after work.
Go for a pint.
Go for a pint to the pub, right?
So true.
So if you don't drink, you might be missing out opportunities. I mean, it's the job of the manager and the team members to create, an inclusive work environment, but there are certain, traditions and things that you do that are just part of where you were born or how you grew up.
True. So you embrace this way to connect people.
Yeah. For us, it's like, let's go for a coffee.
True.
You need to discuss something, or whether it is work related or whether, like your best friend that just broke up with the girlfriend or vice versa. And we need to talk. Let's go for a coffee.
So true.
Yeah. Before 5 p.m. Yeah.
And a cappuccino before 12. So this is part of this. Unless there's a big thing, your job now is definitely not doable in Italy because there's a different approach to the job, to the work, and maybe in Italy can be made, but probably at a slower pace, in a less international kind of approach. That's what we think.
Let's put it this way. We said that before, but let's reiterate the message. I would never probably have landed this job based on my previous experiences if I wasn't in London, all right? Now that I have it, if I was to move to Genova or to Milan, could I do it? I think I could. A lot of what I do happens remotely. I travel mainly to go to conferences, or if I have a large deal that I need to go and see the people, face to face. So whether I'm based in London or in Milan, I don't think it's gonna make that much of a difference. Like how many clients I see face to face in London that I couldn't see if I was in Milan. I'm working I have clients in Middle East, in everywhere in Europe. So I don't know. Maybe I could.
Maybe it's doable.
Yeah, maybe it's doable.
Something in the future.
Yeah,
consider something like that.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So this is your current job, right?
Yeah.
But suspense. I want to be able drum roll.
Roll thumbs.
What happened in that Starbucks? That's my question. What happened in that Starbucks?
Well, a lot of caffeine, a lot of hours. So what happened is that, you know how Starbucks works, right?
Yeah.
They have those, for us Italians, those crazy drinks, grande latte, extra hot, half a shot of caramel, whipped cream, but a lot of personalization nonetheless, all right? And I joined and people were fairly stressed, right? Quite in a rush all the time. So I thought, how can I deliver, the best experience possible? You try to make them laugh, to do a joke, to bond with them, to chat, share something personal, and that's what I've done while I was there for those 3 years. And by doing that, I actually bonded quite closely with quite a few of the JP Morgan employees. Everyone's super nice, super friendly. And when I decided to go to uni, they would then ask me, you know, how my exams were going, what I was studying, if I was enjoying it. So it was like I would ask something about them or about the football teams or about the kids, and they would ask something about me. And then suddenly, one day, Riccardo Benetti, also a fellow Italian, came to me and said, Filippo, have you ever, I was actually doing my second year at uni, and as you know, the second year is when you look into internships.
Around you, yeah.
Here, the university are closed in the summer from what it is, May, June until September. So it's very often the case that students do a summer internship to also get some, you know, like real experience while you're still studying, okay? First kind of experience in the workplace, in an office environment, sort of. So that's popular, right? They push you actually to apply for internship programs. So Riccardo comes to me and he said, have you ever thought about doing an internship at JP Morgan? And I'm like, well, no, but it will be very exciting, you know? So we sat down, coffee on me, obviously, and he talked about the different internship programs that you have at JP Morgan. You can apply to investment banking, markets, which is on the trading side, which you need like a bit more sophisticated academic path than one I had. Then you also had one which was a bit more in line with my studies, which is like operations and back office. And so like he gave me all these details because it's very difficult when you're outside such a large corporate to really understand everything that is happening there. You know, he has 260,000 employees. What do they do? You know, like they don't know.
It's a lot.
Like obviously they know how to do their job, but you know how many times I ask someone, what is the guy sitting 2 desks away from you doing? They said, I have no idea. I know he works in team ABC, but I don't know what they do. You know, so imagine from outside, even more challenging. So it really helped me navigate the different internship programs, trying to identify the one that was more in line with my my studies, and there I was. I applied to one bank, one internship program, and I got an offer for a 10 weeks summer internship at JP Morgan, one of the largest banks in the world. I was literally shocked. My granddad was crying. My parents were like popping bottle of champagne or prosecco. Who knows? It was a glorious day. It was super good. Yeah.
Mamma mia. And then this happened in that right moment. What were you thinking, if you remember?
I don't know, like, it was very organic. I actually appreciated the opportunity at least a few years later. On the moment I was over the moon, super excited, very fulfilled, blessed. I think blessed is the best way to describe how I felt. It was a glorious moment. It was really good.
Was it every part in a lot?
Oh, yeah. I don't need an excuse to party. So imagine, that,
you got to, you got to.
Yeah, it's even better.
I don't want to talk about numbers. I don't want to talk about things that people want to know about this, but I'm more interested about how your life from 1 to 10 since that moment, and I'm not talking about the before, because obviously you're working for Starbucks. I cannot imagine how low paid you were paid and stuff like that. How difficult it was for you like to enjoy life, and now maybe you can enjoy it better. But how from 1 to 10 your approach to your lifestyle has changed? You know what I mean? Because sometimes when you have 0, you want to have 100, and you think that you're going to stay 0 in your mind. You know what I mean? You're going to still like act like you are not touching any money, you know, not having that kind of great lifestyle, but then things build up, you know, life goes on, and
there is always a next level. Always.
Crazy, guys.
Yeah.
So, you know, habits, bad or good habits, sport, whatever you like in your life, just adds up. right?
Yes.
How much from 1 to 10 have you managed to control of your side? Have you done any investment? Have you done any, like, you know, have you had any ideas how to, you know, in a way navigate into this other big world, which is like finance and altogether?
Yeah, it's a very good question. So if I see retrospectively, you know, when I moved initially, family helped me, right? Then I became independent, but very low profile. You know, I was sharing a room, not even a flat. I was sharing the room with a stranger. It became a
One
friend.
room with-
Yeah, it became a friend, but like I didn't know him. Like I didn't have anyone in common, right? So like when you think about how your life improves every time your salary improves, especially early in the curve, you know, like the increase is steep. It's very steep. You suddenly have your own room, then you suddenly have your own bedroom, eventually maybe one day your own bathroom, eventually maybe one day you even get your own flat if you want to, because sharing is fun, but you will get to a point where you like to have that. So it definitely changed. I remember this day, so the internship was very well paid. It was 10 weeks. We started the last week of June, and after a week we received a full month's salary, by full month JP Morgan salary. And I remember we went out like the first days of the week and everyone was getting like a pint or something. And when on Friday, because we got paid Friday during the day, we realized we received the full month of salary after just 1 week of training. We didn't even work. Everyone was popping bottles and double gin tonics, and that it was hilarious. It was hilarious. Some people didn't even know. We said, "Have you checked your bank account?" You know, you're completely broke at uni. And I was independent before, but very low budget. And when I went to uni, my family helped me again because I kept working at Starbucks, but I moved from full time to part time to like physically be at uni. So I moved like from being like blessed, obviously, that my family helped me and I would receive some support for rent and bills. At the same time, you don't want to go too crazy in your personal expenses because like family is helping you. Then suddenly, boom, again, you are independent, but with more buying power than before. I mean, we're not talking about crazy numbers because you just start your career, but like compared to what I was on before, like the difference was substantial, you know, you could, was tangible. Let's put it that way. And drinkable. Yeah.
But the difference was drinkable. This is a good point. Wow.
But yeah, that's for sure. But I also learned a lot of other things that I think are very valuable in life. For instance, I joined in operations, which is a very good role, but it's not one of the most the highly paid in banking. Usually it's more around the trading side of things and investment banking and M&A. They obviously work way longer hours and they get paid more money. And I got to a point because I consider myself ambitious, but I also love life and not just work. And I kind of wanted to move into different roles just because I knew they were more ambitious or they were you get paid more. And then I realized that it's always good to aim higher and trying to improve yourself, but you also need to ask what you really want, what you really like. Do you want to land that job because everyone said it's difficult and you want to prove that you can make it? Or do you really want to land that job because you actually know that you will be very successful and you're going to enjoy doing those kind of things? And that's when I actually realized that I wanted to change career and move outside of finance. And I'm not saying finance is bad. Finance has been everything but bad to me. It's been like unbelievably good because I will never do anything I'm doing now without like people working in finance, without that job in finance. But I'm also saying, always ask yourself, do you want to do it because if you do it, everyone will look at you like, wow, or because you really like it, or you would really enjoy it. Or because, you know, like work will buy you time and things that you can do later on, but it can also consume a lot of time. And if you can find something that you do that you don't necessarily love, but you enjoy, then certainly you try to not only increase your salary, but also the time you spend at work that you actually enjoy. Could be a good conversation with people that are very interesting, could be anything really. It's very personal. And I think like never, no one should never stop asking that question.
It's something that you like or something that you are passionate about, or it's something that you need to have that status? That's the question that people should ask themselves sometimes. And also, I will say something about it because I've lately I'm immersed into this life. I'm the let's say I'm the Starbucks guy who lives people's life, right? And I'm very grateful because I have a different relationship with these people. I love my job. I deeply love my job, and I love London and all these all these little changes, all the big changes that are happening nowadays. And I feel part of the city, right? Even if I'm not making silly money, which I wish I will, but one day. But I'm saying I'm grateful of learning from other people how to live life and how to. And I'm not saying that I want to avoid making mistakes because it's something impossible in life, yeah.
And you should not.
Definitely. But how to be more humble in perspective, because you said I was working in finance, right? And I could probably potentially like work my ass off for 12, 15, 18 hours and maybe reach that status, right? But was it worth it? It wasn't. And
Not for me. Yeah.
Not for you.
Yeah.
And I believe, and I have all kind of clients. That's the point I want to get to. I'm all kind of clients who work 18 hours a day for the minimum wage, and those ones who work 20 hours a day for the 500 plus K a year. And I don't know who's living the best life, I don't know who's really like appreciating the time with the family and appreciating the time with having small things. Yes, you can go to Hawaii twice a year, fine. Yeah. But how long you have to wait? How long you gonna see your kids for? How long you gonna see your fiance? Or for how many times you can party without be worried about the hangover because the day after you have to start at 7 a.m. Yeah. So yeah, I really appreciate this part of you because I guess it's a good lesson for people who really want to have a big ambitions, but they don't really think about themselves first.
Yeah. And everyone is different. There is not one way to go that fits all.
Definitely.
Right? I have friends that work in finance. They have brilliant minds. They're probably quite scientific. They like crunching numbers. They like thinking in a way on how to speculate based on information, data, analytics. And for them, maybe they might be working long hours, but they enjoy when they got it right. And also they get a lot of money out of it when they do, sometimes even when they don't.
But again, it's the passion that makes you feel like you want to make, what I mean?
That's why you need to ask yourself the question, because it doesn't, I'm not trying at all to say that, like if you're in finance, you're soulless. Absolutely not.
No, absolutely.
But it wasn't the thing that was stimulating me, and I had to move. On the other end, I see friends of mine, they are so good at what they do, and for them, it's so fulfilling to do that finance role. And there are so many different finance roles as well, right? So it doesn't really matter what you do and where you are in your life, growth. Asking that question and really trying to be true to yourself, it's so important.
It's a secret.
Yeah, whatever it means to you. It means different things to different people.
Absolutely.
It's the beauty.
And I agree to the point is you had on the how much time you spend working, because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. If you're passionate about something you love, you can spend literally 36 hours a day, not 24, to make sure it works well for you.
And how do you see your work-life balance?
My work-life balance. I'm workaholic, I'm telling you, yeah.
I'm thinking because like it's so important to put things in a perspective, right? So if you have a lot of something, you're more likely to waste it, you know? If you only have a little bit, you want to use it wisely. And, you know, time is one thing that really goes well with that. And like to go back to the importance of putting things in perspective and reading books to open the mind, I'm gonna make an example with Starbucks. Like if you think about every time you do a cappuccino, if you put like a drop too much, it's just a drop, no? It's not gonna count much.
True.
But if you think about how many baristas from Starbucks make how many cappuccinos every day, that drop start to have an impact, you know? So like on the other side, and with time is the same thing, you know? You don't actually have too much time. Is it really worth spending it doing something that you don't care? Right?
That's a great point.
It's a point that you just made. So yeah, I totally agree. Yeah.
That's I have a cheeky example about that. I heard a podcast once. The guy was talking about like going to the club and going to the bathroom. At the beginning, the bathroom was clean, but if you don't clean it after and after and after, it becomes very, you know. Then the guy is gonna. That's pretty much the same idea, but yeah. Is simple. Life is supposed to be simple. It's supposed to be made simple for people, and we try to make it too complicated. But
that's also
that's one of the points I really want to stress. So you nowadays working for a different company. How did you leave? And what relationship you left the previous company in the previous? How does it work in the UK? On this point of view, is still connections important nowadays?
I think I bonded with a lot of people deeply my time at JP Morgan, and I really care about the people I spend time with, I work with. So it's I like to create like strong relationships with my colleagues, like if we like each other, you know, if there is ground for it. But you know, like especially at JP, it was quite a magical time back then. For instance, I speak with Ricardo every 6 months, every year, not maybe as often as I would love to, but now and then I either text him or he texts me and is checking in and vice versa, and a lot of other colleagues. And when I left in super good terms. I literally told them, you know, like this place gave me way more than I could ever imagine, you know. I need to go somewhere else. Like it's, you know, when you have goals somewhere and you need to go on to the next adventure, like that place literally offered me more than I could ever imagine. I was about time to look into something else. So it was, when I left, it was very emotional, but I left in super good terms. And I made a lot of very, very, very good connections there.
And to be fair, I have to tell you, you've been so brave. From from working on a low level, try to get to uni, and then change. You know, the first job that made you what you were back then. You gotta be brave. You gotta be like, you know, very like. You gotta know what's next, because otherwise, if you have any doubt on that, it's gonna be bad.
You need to be brave, but you also need to be true to yourself, true to people. Tell them if you want more, or tell them that you have goals, or tell them that there is something that you want to achieve, because no one will ever come to you and say, would you like a promotion, right? It was far from it, right? The opposite. You need to tell them that you want it. You need to demonstrate that you can already work whatever you want to go for, and then maybe after they will give it to you. So like being vocal, but most important than all is to be able to receive help when someone is offering it to you. Because I will never be what I am without all the people that helped me throughout. True. Some people helped me by hurting me. Some people helped me by spending time with me to teach me things. Some people, you know, gave me opportunities when others won't or wouldn't, you know. So like help can have very different shapes, and being able to understand when someone is helping you and grab that opportunity, that lesson, that whatever it is the most important thing.
That's great.
Yeah.
Last question. This is a cheeky question.
I was waiting for it.
What do you love about London? What do you absolutely hate about London?
That's easier.
What do you hate about Italy? Like, now you need to, like, all the stereotypes. I don't care. Whatever you want to say. This is your free time.
Yeah. So what I love about London,
Be true with yourself. Don't talk about opportunity. I want to hear it.
what I love about London is how you can get exposed to so many different things, like from job types, type of people, lifestyles as well. You can be basically whoever you want in London. You know, if you want to go a rock star, perhaps you go around Camden Town and trying to convince someone. If you want to be a tattoo artist, you go Shoreditch. You know, if you want to work in finance, you go around Canary Wharf. You could be whoever you want. And that goes back to the opportunities that you can get, but it's unmatched anywhere else. So that one. What I don't like about London, it's the obvious one. You know, it's the weather. But maybe if the weather was so nice, people would be a bit more lazy. I don't know. But like for me to wake up, see the sun, feel the warmth on your skin, it's something that every time I come back, I'm like, I miss that, you know, and I do miss that. And what I hate about Italy is that it's one of the most beautiful places on the planet, and it's we should live out of, you know, like nature, agriculture, tourism. It's the most biodiverse place. Like if you look at Alps, beaches, rockies, like it's you have everything you can ever imagine, and yet it's quite corrupted. Things are not working as they should. We're not investing in the resource. We're not investing resources in what really matters, and you know, like that hurts me a lot. That hurts me a lot, and I'm sure it's. You relate to that, like everyone does. People should go to Italy. I should not go to London, you know? Obviously, it's an Italian saying that. Yeah, that's...
And you know, I had this Leo. One of my guests in the podcast is a designer, and he basically went to Italy to learn art, obviously.
Yeah.
That's the only thing they do. They go to Italy to learn art.
Opera art. Like the people learn Italian because they want to see the opera in the native language, you know? And then everyone else language to do business or whatever, right? But there is so much beauty to it, so much history. No one can match that. Like, no one knows, but like it's
he has a deep tissue together with the whole communities and you know, like culture. It's just a beautiful place. But yeah, you're right. It's not the time. Italy is not ready for this world. It's not ready for this time. You know what I mean? That's the way I see Italy. When I talk about Italy, I talk about Naples as well, obviously, because you know that's my picture now. I see the Gulf of Naples in my mind. Is here, basically. Look at this. It's not ready for this world. It belongs to a different century. That's what I believe. With all this modernity, obviously, technology like takes everybody, but there's something missing, you know. There's something missing in Italians' mind, which makes a fun place to live, to visit. Not that fun to live, I guess.
It's a unique beauty.
Oh yes.
With its pros and cons. I guess we're always a bit more, tough. With yourself and with your own country. Like London is not perfect. There are a lot of things here as well. But yeah, who knows? Maybe one day
we're gonna match them. One day. So first of all, check your hair, because obviously we're here also for the hair.
Great as always.
That's
great as always.
Thank you so much. I'll show you the back as well. Let me show you the back. As you see, I gave you some texture. Obviously your hair is super dark, but if you just work on that. You're gonna get like a cool texture.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Where you going? You said you're going on holiday. Where?
I'm going to Mexico on Friday.
With a good like. Do you want me to use a bit of sea salt spray?
Yeah, why not?
It can match the Mexican Ocean. So this is a sea salt spray. It's the same effect of basically, you know, when you go to the water, to the ocean. This came out of the water.
Yeah. Not the Thames.
Same, not the same. If you go into the same, I don't know what you're gonna get out with.
Exactly. Maybe nothing at all.
Do you know about the eels that are basically always on drug? The eels, i capitoni, come si chiamano, le anguille.
Yeah.
Always
I read
on drug.
about it.
They got all of it, man, for free. It's crazy. But anyway. Do you think?
Nice. Perfect.
Grazie mille.
Always keep on
Grazie a te,
praying 'cause
è stato
you
un
are
piacere.
the future.